What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am Ricardo, your NBA sports journalist, and I need you to stop whatever you are doing right now, because what Victor Wembanyama just did in Game 3 against the Minnesota Timberwolves is one of the most historically significant individual performances in NBA playoff history. And I do not say that lightly. I say it because the numbers back it up completely. 39 points, 15 rebounds, 5 blocks, 2 three-pointers made. That stat line, 39 points, 15 rebounds, 5 blocks, 2 threes in a single playoff game, has only been achieved by 4 players in the entire history of the NBA postseason: Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and now Victor Wembanyama. Let that list sink in for a second. Shaq, the Dream, the Cap, and a 21-year-old who has been in the league for 2 seasons. But here is the number that really gets me. The specific combination of 35 or more points, 15 or more rebounds, 3 or more blocks, and 2 or more made three-pointers in a playoff game. That combination has only been achieved by one other player in NBA history before tonight. One. And that player is LeBron James. Victor Wembanyama just joined a club with a membership of 2. And the other member is the player that the entire basketball world spent the last 3 months talking about as the greatest of his generation on his last playoff run. That is not a coincidence. That is not a fun footnote. That is the basketball universe telling you something very specific about what Victor Wembanyama is and what he is going to become. Let me walk you through the game itself, because the context makes the performance even more remarkable. The San Antonio Spurs are up 2-1 in their second-round series against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota, the team that just eliminated Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets in the first round, the team that dispatched the reigning MVP and made it look almost easy at times, is now trailing in their second-round series because a 21-year-old is doing things that Shaq and Hakeem and Kareem did. Game 3 was played in San Antonio, and the crowd was electric in a way that Spurs basketball has not been in years. Since the dynasty days of Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, San Antonio has been waiting for the next era. They have been patient. They have watched the rebuild. They drafted Wembanyama first overall and immediately understood they had something different, something that does not come along every generation. And now he is giving them this: 39 points in a playoff game against one of the best defensive teams in the Western Conference. Minnesota's defense held Jokic to numbers that were below his regular season averages in multiple games. They were disciplined. They were physical. They were organized. And Wembanyama scored 39 against them. The way he did it is what makes it so extraordinary. This is not a player who got to 39 by hunting free throws all night, though he is perfectly capable of that. He got there by being genuinely unstoppable in multiple ways simultaneously. He was shooting over defenders with his 7'4" wingspan, making his release point essentially unblockable. He was posting up smaller defenders and using his footwork to get easy buckets inside. He was hitting threes, 2 of them, which meant Minnesota could not simply pack the paint and dare him to shoot from outside. And then on the other end, he had 5 blocks, protecting the rim in a way that changes how the entire offense operates, because players think twice before attacking the basket. There is no good answer for Victor Wembanyama. And that is the terrifying part for every team left in these playoffs. And think about what it means for a team to guard him. If you put a big on him, he shoots over them from the perimeter. If you put a smaller defender on him to contest his three-point shot, he overpowers them in the post. If you send a double team, his passing vision, which is genuinely elite for a player of any size, finds the open man. And if you somehow force him into a difficult shot on one end, he is going back to the other end and blocking your shot or altering your drive at the basket. Hakeem Olajuwon was the most skilled big man this league ever produced before Wembanyama arrived. The dream shake, the footwork, the combination of power and grace and basketball IQ that made him nearly impossible to stop in the post. And Wembanyama is doing some of what Olajuwon did while also shooting threes with the consistency of a guard. That combination has never existed before at this level. It is genuinely new. It is genuinely unprecedented. Now let us talk about the LeBron comparison specifically, because I think it is the most interesting part of this whole story. The reason Wembanyama joining LeBron in that specific statistical category matters is not just because the numbers are impressive. It is because of what those numbers represent about a player's versatility and completeness. To get 35 points, you have to be a scorer. To get 15 rebounds as a 7'4" player, you have to be dominant physically. To get 3 blocks, you have to be an elite rim protector. And to make 2 threes, you have to have a perimeter game that forces defenses to honor you outside. A player who can do all 4 of those things in one playoff game is a player without a clear weakness, a player without a clear answer. LeBron James built his entire career on being a player without a clear answer. Nobody could stop him because he could beat you in too many different ways. And now a 21-year-old from France is operating in that same category of completeness in a playoff game against one of the best defensive teams in the West. Wembanyama himself said after the game that the Spurs need to sustain this level of performance heading into Game 4. He is right. One spectacular game does not win a series. The Timberwolves are going to adjust. They are going to throw different looks at him. They are going to try to frustrate him, put bodies on him, make the game physical in ways that test his 21-year-old body over the course of a full game. But here is what I keep coming back to. The players Wembanyama joined on that historical list, Shaq, Hakeem, Kareem, LeBron, none of them were one-game wonders. None of them had one spectacular night and then disappeared. They were historic because they were consistently historic. And everything we have seen from Wembanyama in his 2 seasons suggests that he belongs in that conversation, not just because of one game, but because of what he does every single night. The San Antonio Spurs are 2 wins away from the Western Conference Finals. Victor Wembanyama is 21 years old, and he just did something that only Shaq, Hakeem, Kareem, and LeBron have done before him in a playoff game. The future of basketball is not coming. It is already here. And it is wearing a Spurs jersey and making history in April. I am Ricardo, your NBA sports journalist. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for daily NBA and WNBA playoff coverage, and drop a comment below. Is Victor Wembanyama already the most talented player in the NBA? I genuinely want to know what this community thinks. I will see you in the next one.